Hello, Stampers. So I am a few minutes late, having some technical difficulties, but welcome to Pat's Card Corner. I am Pat. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I hope you were hanging in there to wait for me to get online here, because I've got something really fun to show you today, something a little bit different, a new technique for you to try. So, hopefully I can get this going here. Oh, there we go. There, I'm on. Woohoo! All right, so if you are here watching, or if you're getting on a little bit late, because I'm late, just say hi and let me know you're here and let me know you're watching. So I've got something fun to show you today, and this is super easy, but it's just kind of fun to do. So that's why we are going to do it together as soon as I find my other piece I need. Oh. All right, well, I'm going to talk to you while I look for it, because I'm not sure where it is. So I missed you last week, or I wasn't on last week, because Stampin' Up! Was having their annual on-stage online. Did I say that right? And so I was out of town with a couple of my demonstrator friends, and we were watching all kinds of presentations, and I got to see some of the new stamp sets that are coming out, and I got to see them demonstrated, and it was a lot of fun, but it was very busy, so we had a lot to do. And I've lost my, I know I just had it. Oh, that's because it's right here next to me. I can't see it because it's too close. Okay, so what we're going to do today is you will need a piece of, so I'm doing a Thanksgiving, let me go back, just backtrack just a bit. I'm going to show you two cards today. One is a Thanksgiving card, and the other one is going to be a Christmas card, just to show you that you can take the same design and just do two different things with it, and it'll look completely different, but they're both you know, pretty. So anyway, so that's why I have one of our, what I consider more fall color cardstock, and that is this, and my lighting is really terrible here. I'm trying to, maybe it's my computer. No, computer. All right, so this is a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and this piece is, I forgot to write everything down because I was busy. This piece is 4 1/4 by 11. So, and we are going to score it in half. You know, right down the middle. We're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then for this card, you're going to need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And you also need a piece of basic white. Excuse me, that's that one. That is 3 3/4 by 5. Almost right. And then we're also going to need a piece of, this is one of the brushed metallic pieces of cardstock. You can see it's shiny. And this piece is, because I forgot, just a minute. Okay. It's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then you're also going to need a piece of basic white that is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. So you don't need a whole lot of supplies, and if you'll notice, you do not need any designer series paper for this card, but it is going to be beautiful anyway. And the other thing you're going to need is a couple pieces of tissue paper. They can be, I just happen to have purple because that's the first thing I grabbed out of my closet where I keep all of my wrapping paper and things like that, was purple. So, but you can use any color. The color of your tissue paper does not matter. It just needs to be tissue paper. So you can have anything you want. And I'm also going to be using one of the dies from the Intricate Leaf dies, and that is this kind of big maple leaf looking die. So we are going to use that. And you can also have a little bit of ribbon, that's optional. You also need a sentiment to stamp on your stamp set. The one I'm going to be using is from a retired stamp set, because this year I did not buy any stamp sets that had Thanksgiving type of sentiments on it. So I'm using this one that is retired because it says Happy Harvest Blessings, which I like, so that's the one I'm going to use. So if you don't recognize it, that would be why, because it is retired. So now we're just going to get started, and the first thing we're going to do, and I'm also going to show you a couple little tricks too for this one. The other thing I forgot to mention is that we need ink. So we need 2 colors of ink. So one of the colors of ink I'm using is Cajun Craze, which matches my cardstock base. And the other color is just kind of another fall color that goes with it. You could use something else besides pumpkin pie. I chose pumpkin pie. You could also use like Bumblebee, which is a pretty yellow, or you could use a pretty green, just something. But to me, these colors look kind of fall to me, so that is why I picked these. So anyway, so let's get started. So I am going to, first thing, I'm going to move my ink out of the way, so I'm going to move these pieces out of the way. I'm going to leave them here just for a second, so in case you need to write them down. So you will need all these pieces plus some kind of die, and your die needs to fit or onto or be smaller than your basic white piece. So but this leaf fits perfect. You could also do 3 smaller leaves. If you didn't want to use a big leaf, you could do 3 smaller ones, but I am going to do that. And I'm just going to get my trimmer, paper trimmer, so that, oh, I got paper on it too, so I can score that because I haven't scored it. And then we're going to get started. So now we're going to start. So I'm going to move these out of the way. This we're just going to do a quick score right down the middle. I could fold it in half, but I'm not good at folding and getting it straight. So I kind of like to score mine, just because then I know it's straight and I don't have to worry about it not being straight. Okay, so just going to fold that in half. And we are going to do just a little bit of embossing too, and I have a little trick to show you with that also. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to emboss, oops, the smaller piece. This is a 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to emboss that, but I want to stamp on this one. So if you're going to stamp on the same piece that you're going to emboss, you need to stamp it first and then emboss it. If you try and emboss it later, because the embossing is kind of bumpy, then your stamp will not be flat on your card. So the ink might look kind of splotchy, or it might not come all the way through in some spots. So if you want to emboss on your card first, then you need to stamp on it first. So because I'm going to stamp directly on this and not something else. So I am going to use the Cajun Craze, and I'm going to get that out of the way real quick. And so that I know kind of where I'm going to put it, I'm going to just kind of lay this piece on here, because this piece is going to go about like that when we get it done. So I know that I need to stamp below that. So I'm just going to stamp below that, and I'm going to get it right side up and not upside down. And I'm just going to hopefully get it right here in the middle. So there we go. I'm going to move that out of the way because we're going to use that later. Close this up so I don't get ink all over me. And now I'm going to emboss this, and I'm going to use the Tasteful Texture, just because it's very subtle, and I just kind of want something subtle, so I'm just going to place that right in there, right in the middle. I am going to get my embossing, Stamp and Emboss. I'm going to bring that in here. Whoops. Because we're going to do a couple things with this while I got this out. So this one, you just need the bottom plate, your embossing folder, and this number 4 plate. So I'm just going to put that on there, hold on to it, roll it through, and there we have an embossed piece. I hope you can kind of see the texture on that. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it's very subtle, but you can see it's very well inked, and it looks like it's been printed on there, actually, not even stamped. So we're going to set that aside. And then this is my little trick. So these 2 pieces, I'm going to move this out of the way just real quick. These 2 pieces are going to be layered together like this. But I'm going to die cut my leaf, because I don't want to waste paper, out of the gold in the back. So I'm just going to kind of lay that on there. It's kind of like that. That's kind of about how I want it. And then I'm just going to kind of carefully move this out of the way. And I can kind of still see it's kind of right in the right spot. And we're going to cut that right out of that layer. Now, you aren't going to be able to see that because it's going to be covered up. So it doesn't matter that there's a big like leaf-shaped hole in the bottom of it. So I'm just going to kind of carefully pick that up. Bring my plate over. I changed my plates on here. Just going to lay that on there. Put this on top. There we go. And I'm just going to run it through. And because I am going to go back and forth maybe one time. And the reason I did that is because this metallic paper, see, there's my little thing. And when we put this on top, see, you can see that nobody can tell that you cut something out. It's a little bit thicker than cardstock, so sometimes it gets stuck a little bit. So I try and run it through more than once. And this is, I have an older version of the Take Your Pick tool that has a little thing on here. So I'm gonna see if I can do it over my little trash can here. And you just kind of roll it over, and it takes all the little pieces out, so you don't have to poke them out. It's much easier to get them out. Just going to, some of them I still need to poke, just to get them all out. And there we have, whoop, move that out of the way. A very nice die cut, beautiful leaf. And we didn't waste any paper, because, you know, when you get this, the specialty paper, the foil, you get 2 sheets in a pack, which you can get quite a few pieces out of it. But isn't it better when you don't have to waste your paper and you can use all of it? And this is going to be behind it. You can see where this came right out of there, but we aren't going to see it. Okay, so I am going to set that aside. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat here. Hey, Sharon. Yeah, it is a pretty leaf die. I love this. And it looks really good when it's metallic too. Still got a piece stuck on there. Come off. There we go. Okay, so this is the fun part of what you're going to do with your tissue paper. So this is the 2.5 by 2.5 piece of basic white, and I am going to take my pumpkin pie because I'm using two colors for this, but I want to do the lighter color first, so that's why I'm taking the pumpkin pie. Just going to open it up, and this is where you take your tissue paper and you just wad it up, do a little ball, kind of like that. You do kind of want to leave a little place for you to hold on to, because you're actually just going to put it in the ink and then just kind of dab it on your paper. And you can kind of see it comes off a little darker in some spots, but we're not really trying to make a design. You could do a whole background piece with this. We're just doing a small piece. So we're just put a little bit of that on, and then this is wet, so I'm gonna put it upside down, put it aside. I'm gonna put this ink away, and now I'm gonna take the darker color, which is the Cajun Craze that matches our base card, and I'm going to take my other piece of tissue paper, I'm going to wad this up, and you kind of want it all crinkly, so it looks kind of crinkled. Maybe fix it a little bit. There we go. And then you're just going to dab that in, and then just going to dab just a little bit on top. I think that's probably actually pretty good. If you want to add a little bit more, you could add more colors if you want. I just chose two because I thought that was plenty. But it really kind of makes a neat little design, just without being, kind of, it's just different. So then we're going to put that away. Put my tissue paper over here so I don't my hands in it again, because I don't want to get ink on my card. And now we're ready to put our card together. So this is like super simple, easy card. So your Whisper White is just going to go on the front of your card. So our card is going to open this way. So I'm just going to use a little glue and glue that on there. Move my glue to the other side because that makes more sense for me since I'm left-handed. And I'm just going to put this right on the front, just like that. Okay, now we're going to take this piece that we just kind of stamped on, and I'm going to attach it to my gold piece, just like that. And I am just going to put it just around the outside here. I'm not going to put any glue in the middle, because if I did, this, it would go all the way through. So I'm just going to put it right around the outside. Because this piece I am going to put on dimensionals when I attach it to the card. So I don't want to put glue in the middle where the leaf is missing, because I don't want it to go all the way through and then, it'll be stuck to my card. So we're just going to put it on just like that. And you can see, there we go. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back as soon as I find my dimensionals. Hey Meg, glad to see you. I haven't seen Laura today, so she might not be on. I was a few minutes late though, so we're just going to put these on the back. I'm going to put this on the card. It's just going to go right here. I'm just going to, try and center it from side to side and from the top. So I'm centering it from here around this way. So I'm just going to pop that up just like that. Our leaf is going to go right on top, just like that. I am going to put it on a dimensional right there. So as soon as I find a little one. So this is where it comes in handy to when you use the outside of your what's left over. Once you take your dimensionals off, you always have the outside. Well, I save it and then I use the little pieces to do little things like this. So I actually have a little piece right here. So I'm just going to kind of cut that off. this little piece is going to go right down the stem, just like that. And I'm going to attach it just like that, because I want it to kind of pop up a little bit. So just like that. And you can add a little bit of ribbon or twine if you want. So I actually have some, this is retired twine, but it happens to be Cajun Craze colored. It was part of, I think, last year's autumn, I think it was called Autumn Harvest. Oh, I might be correct. It was part of last year's, it was part of a ribbon combo. So let's see if I can get a bow out of here. Hello. Doesn't want to come through. But there we go. Kind of a wonky bow, isn't it? But when that happens, you just pull the end and make it smaller. So I am just going to put a tiny little piece of this, and I'm just going to put it on a glue dot and just put it right there, and our card is done. So let's see, let me pick this up, put a glue dot on there. I am going to kind of roll the glue dot up on the back just because it's a big glue dot and it's a tiny piece of twine. And this way it won't show. There we go. I think that'll do it. So this is a super simple card. And it's easy. And you learn 2 new tricks. You learn to cut out pieces from your layers. And you learn how to stamp with tissue paper. There you go. So the only other piece that's left of this card is your, almost forgot, is your 4x5 1/4 piece that goes on the inside of your card. And if you want, you can kind of stamp down here with your tissue paper again, if you want. So I think actually I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the right colors here. This one's the darker one. I still have my tissue paper. So you do want to throw your tissue paper away when you're done. Hey, Laura. Oh, that's okay. I was late getting on. So, and we're going to make another card here. So we're just going to kind of stamp around on the bottom here. And then this is the other color. This is Cajun Craze. Throw a little bit of that on there. I'm going to throw those away. And if you wanted to stamp a greeting on the inside of your card, you could do that too. But now this one is done. I'm just going to put that in there just like that. Put something on the back here. I have a new thing of glue, and it comes out really fast, and I forget. Comes out so fast. But new glue is always fun because then you don't have to shake it all the time trying to get the glue to come down to the bottom. I think I got that straight. There we go. And there's your card. Super easy, super simple, and very... Alright, so the next one we're going to do is different colors. To get my pieces out here. Move this off to the side. We're going to be using Shaded Spruce. And have my pink colors. And we're going to be using, there we go. So this is, there's my gold piece. So this piece is a little bit bigger than the last card, and the piece that we're going to put on the front is also a little bit bigger than the last card. And the reason is because the die that I'm going to use is bigger, so I needed it big enough so I could do that. So this is from the Delicate Baubles die set. And I'm going to use this one, which is this kind of round one. And it says Joy on it. It's like an ornament. So if I did it on the smaller piece, this this die is too big. So I just adjusted the size of my, actually I'm going to put it this way because it even gives me a little bit more room that way. I adjusted the size of my the brushed metallic cardstock and the size of the basic white. And these sizes too. So this piece, so you're going to need two pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. And your basic white piece is now 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This piece is a little bit bigger. So this piece is 3 by 3. So that piece is 3 by 3. So it's a little bit bigger. I'm gonna put that there. And that is because our die is bigger. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of tissue paper. Any color, any size. Mine are about 5 by 5 just because it's kind of a smaller piece. So, and we're going to do the same thing that we did for this card. We are going to die cut this out of the gold, and then it's going to be where we die cut it. It is going to be covered up by our piece of white, which I put right here. I almost thought I didn't have it there for a minute. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping with this one. So for this one though, I chose a different background die, and I'm going to tell you why, because I didn't even realize this until I was kind of looking at it. I am a singer. I love to sing. I've sang in choirs my whole life, pretty much my whole life. Choirs in school, you know, singing groups in school, choirs at church. And this is the Merry Melody embossing folder. And if you know anything about music and you look at this, and you kind of have to open it up and look at it a little backwards maybe. What is it backwards? This is upside down. But the music, what is embossed on this music is the song Joy to the World. Obviously a Christmas song. So I thought, well, how appropriate is it that this die cut says joy on it? So I thought, well, I need to use this embossing folder on this card just because it says Joy to the World on it. So that's what we're gonna do. Now I think my video was frozen here, Sharon, so it's working now, so hopefully yours is working too. I'm not sure what the problem was, but you know, it's Facebook Live and anything can happen on Facebook Live. So, all right, so we're going to use this embossing folder, the Merry Melody, and I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. What did I do? Oh, I was almost going to ask you, what did I do with my white piece? But I'm holding it in my hand, so there you go. And I need my other piece of white. That's not it. Okay, so we are going to move this out of the way. And I have a little magic this time. So I am going to emboss this piece with the Merry Melody. And the trick to this one is you actually have to kind of hold it upside down. So so it's upside down looking at it so that everything will be right side up when you do it. I wanted to have, I don't know if you can see that, maybe if I put it here, the little treble clef signs and the bass clef sign on this side. So I actually wanted that to be on my embossing part. So I put this right on the edge and right in the corner so that I could have that on there. because that's how I know that it's right side up and not upside down. Because if you don't know music very well, or don't know how to read music, you might not realize which notes are supposed to go up and down, or which, you know, or if it was upside down. So if I emboss it this way, and through the magic of Facebook, I have an embossed piece. Ta-da! So you can see the little clef signs over here, so I know that this is right side up. So, and this piece is going to go right on here. I'm not going to stamp. I do need to score my card. I'm not going to stamp on this because I just didn't want to. I could have stamped directly on it just like I did the other one. If you do want to stamp directly on it, you do need to stamp on it first and then emboss, just like we did with the other card. I am, however, just going to put a little sentiment tag on top instead for this card. So, but I do need to fold my card in half. So I'm going to get out my trimmer here. This piece is 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm just going to score it at 5 1/2, which is folding it directly in half. If you're good at folding, you don't need to score it first. You can just fold it and crease it really well, but I never get mine straight, and this way they're straight. So that's why I like to do mine that way. So this is going to be the front of our card. This is going to go there. So I did make this piece a little bit bigger because this piece was bigger. So I am just going to glue that down while we're right here. And just so you know, I haven't made this card, this one, yet before. I just thought of it earlier today. I had made the other one with the leaf before, so I knew what I was doing. So we're just kind of winging it. So anyway, so there's the white piece, and then this piece I'm going to die cut out of my gold again, because I don't want to waste my paper by die cutting it out of another piece when I can just cut it out of here and no one will ever know. So I just kind of put it on there just to kind of see where I want to put it. I just want to make sure that I'm putting it in the middle. So we're going to put it in the middle, and then we're going to die cut this out. And through the magic of Facebook, I'm going to take this over here and look, ta-da, it's die cut. I'll put it on here, you can see a little better. Isn't that pretty? I love the way it's joy, and it's got little holly leaves and little berries down here. So I just love it. Okay, so now if I had the piece that I die cut that out of, but I don't. So maybe I'm going to die cut this again. Yep, I will. Because who knows what I did with the other piece, and I don't want to waste my, because I'm going to make another card. So guess what? We are going to die cut this out of here. So I'm just going to move this because I don't want to cover this up and not use it. So we are going to bring this back, and I need to have all my plates. You can tell these are well used. It's just going to go right there. Make sure I have it in the middle. And you can see this is the piece that we need. This is my die. You can tell it came out very well. And we're just going to kind of lift that off. And then obviously you have to pull the little pieces off, or poke the little pieces out. I could use my little brush again, but some of these are pretty big, so there we go. Just kind of poke them out. That's the fun part of die cutting, is poking all the pieces out. Just make sure you don't stab yourself in the process. I have done that before. It is not pleasant. So, I got something covering up my screen. So stop. There we go. Cut out some more pieces. So you could use any die that you have at home to do this with. You could also use a punch if you wanted, like you could use the deer punch that's out this year. That would make a pretty on the front too. And I know that there's other dies. Poinsettia would be pretty. There's all kinds of things. And if you pick a die that's in the annual catalog that you don't have yet and order it today, you can get 20% off, because today is the last day of the seasonal sale that Stampin' Up! Is having. So just a little reminder there. So this piece is going to go on here, and you can see it's going to cover up where we have where we cut this ornament out on the back. And I'm going to, so we're going to ink this one just like we did the other one. I have my 2 pieces of paper, and I'm going to, I thought, you know, it's Christmas, we're going to be kind of Christmassy. I'm actually going to do it in red and green. So actually I might change this to Cherry Cobbler, but this is Shaded Spruce, which is the color of my base card here. So I know you like that. Ta-da! So I think maybe Cherry Cobbler might be better instead of red. So we're gonna, I don't know, we're gonna try it and see. If I don't like it, I'm gonna switch it. So that's the beauty of testing things out. In fact, I might test it out on a piece of scrap paper first. So I have a little piece of scrap paper, so I'm going to test it out on here and see if I like it first. So you're just going to take your tissue paper and just kind of wad it up. And just leave a place for you to hold it. And you're just going to kind of dab it in there. I'm going to try it on here first. Ooh, this is not very inky. There we go. I'm going to see if I like the red and green. You can have a vote too. And this is my other piece of tissue paper. And we're going to try the, oh good, I'm glad you liked it. This is fun, let me tell you. Who knew that you could stamp with tissue paper? And the more wrinkly it is, the more you're kind of get other images on here. Not sure I like that. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to try the red and see if I like the red better. Just do a little bit on this side. See the fun little pattern it makes? All right. And I'm going to fold this the other way. Hopefully I won't get ink all over me. Put that on the inside, just because I don't have another piece of tissue paper handy. And we're going to try the red. Okay, this might be a little brighter, so I like the red better. Definitely the red, I think. That doesn't look, I think we're going to do the red. All right, so let me get my green one back out. Where did there's the green one. There we go. Got a little place to hold it. Kind of squish it up a little bit. And we need to get that out of the way. Green. Might do more green. Actually, you know, couple shades of green would probably be pretty too. I'm just gonna kind of, there's no real right or wrong to this. You just kind of want to fill all the space, so make sure you go out to the edge. And you know, I might even just leave it green. Maybe I should just leave it green. It's gonna go on there. We'll throw a little bit of red on there. Not much. I don't think it needs very much. I just want just a little. So I'm gonna kind of like stamping off, because I just want a little bit of red and not very much. There we go. That looks good to me. And we're going to put that on there. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little bit of gluing. So these two pieces are going to get glued together. And remember, you're just going to put glue only on the outside of this, just right on the outside edge, because you don't want to put glue where the hole is in the middle of here, because then you'll kind of have a mess on your card. So we're just going to adhere that onto here. And you can move it around a little bit because it is metallic paper, so it does kind of takes a minute for the glue to set. So, and then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back so you can see where we cut it out on the back. And put some of these on the back. Put one in the middle. I need to close up my other ink before I'm trying to stick my hand in it. Okay. Just going to peel these off. How many of you besides me find these all over your house? The little backing pieces. Me, I do. Just going to kind of center it up here. This one, I am going to put some dimensionals on it. I'm going to stick them on the bigger pieces where the leaves are, so there'll be kind of one on the, couple on the top and a couple on the bottom, so I can put that on top of there. And I am going to cut some more pieces off the edge just because I can. So you just need little pieces here. And cut that off. It's easier. And I just kind of want little strips, so I'm cutting them a little bit smaller. I'm making my own size dimensionals here. I'm going to put them on the back of the leaf. Oop, wrong side down. There we go. There's one. Come up there. Yep. There's two. I got two more here. They're going to go on the leaves down here at the bottom. And then we're just going to stamp a little sentiment on here. And so I just kind of wanted enough to stick on here. I'm trying to decide, should I put it straight up and down? We'll put it straight up and down so you can read the joy. There we go. And I am going to stamp a little sentiment on here. I have this tag that has something on it that I die cut from the Seasonal Labels dies. There we go. And I'm just gonna, it's just gonna go down here, and I am gonna stamp Merry Christmas on here, I think. If I can can get it on there anyway. It is going to go over a little bit, but should fit right on there, hopefully. We're going to find out as soon as I find my block, because I have misplaced it. And where did it go? Ah, there it is. It's nice and big. It was so big I couldn't see it. Okay, so we're just going to line this up. Put that on there. I'm going to stamp this in shaded spruce. And then I'm just going to attach it onto the bottom. Hopefully get this inked up pretty good. This is a very long stamp, so just trying to make sure I get the whole thing inked. And part of it is going to go off the edge, but I think that it will be okay. We'll find out. Yep, there we go. And then I'm just going to attach this with some dimensionals. Put my ink away because I've got ink on my hand. Don't want to get ink on my paper. And we're going to throw some of these on the back. And you can put some ribbon or twine on here. I think I have some gold, and we do need to put this on right side up. I'm just going to put this across just like that. There we go. And then I do have another piece of white to put on the inside. And again, you can stamp like we did on the other card. You can do a little bit of stamping on the bottom if you want. So I've got to find my other piece. There we go. I know it's around here somewhere, but I had to go get another one. I do save all my pieces. That's the red. Nope, that's the pink. There we go. This is the green. Hello. I had to find the right piece of tissue paper. Okay, so now I want to know how many of you are going to go try this now and see if you like it. I think I'm just going to kind of leave it green on the bottom. I don't think I want to put any red on it. There we go. And so now we have made 2 Christmas cards, and we did it with tissue paper. So you could also do an entire background piece with this if you wanted, using this technique of tissue paper. You could use multiple colors. You could use more colors if you wanted. I just chose 2. I didn't want it to get too busy and too overwhelming to have more colors on there. So there you go. There's your Christmas card, and there's your fall card. And I think I'm going to try and find a little bit of ribbon to put on there. But I don't have it with me at the moment, so you'll have to check out the blog tomorrow and see what color ribbon I put on. So I hope you like that. I hope you'll give it a try. Get yourself some tissue paper, a little bit of ink, and don't forget to throw it away when you're done so that you don't accidentally, get ink everywhere. All right, so that's it. Hope you have a great night, and I hope you give this a try. If you do, I'd love to see what you make. And I will not see you next week. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. I might pop in earlier in the week if I get a chance, but I will not be doing a live on Thursday because, after eating all that turkey, I'll probably be taking a nap. So, because, that's what happens when you're done eating turkey. All right. Hope you enjoyed it and have a great night. If you have, just as a reminder, today is the last day of Stampin' Up! Seasonal sale. Cardstock is 10% off. Ink pads, like this, ink pads are 15% off. and dies that are in the annual catalog, the 2021-2022 annual catalog, are 20% off. So the items are not in the mini catalog. They are all from the annual catalog, the cardstock, the ink, and the dies, anything in the annual catalog. And today is the last day, so if you're on Eastern time, you have until 2 in the morning, because the sale ends at 11:59 Mountain Time. So just remember, if you need to place an order, get it done. Hope you have a great night and have a blessed Thanksgiving.